Dear Big Bear, Noonie Bear here. I've wanted to write you again, but I waited until I had something to say. After your inner child stream, I was compelled to write. When I was 3, my parents' little brother and I moved from Parksburg, Pennsylvania to Fayetteville, Arkansas. Both my parents grew up in Parksburg and were now 1,300 miles away from their families and everything they ever knew. My dad acclimated well, burying himself in his work at the University of Arkansas, but my mom fell into a deep depression. She would lash out, break things, storm off in her car, and cry constantly. She played Radiohead on the Smashing Pumpkins on repeat. Disarm was the soundtrack to my childhood. I took on the responsibility of feeding our 11 cats. That's never a good sign. And looking after my little brother and eventually my little sister. I internalized my mom's depression and unpredictable outbursts and my gamma father's lack of affection and beatings. I felt like it was all my fault. It was because I wasn't good enough. As I grew older, I remained a scared, broken child inside and developed many self-destructive habits. When I was 19, after my first inpatient drug rehab for heroin, I attended an outpatient program where I was under the care of an angel named Kathy. She was in her late 60s, in recovery herself, and had the motherly warmth I craved. The most profoundly helpful therapy she did with me was the inner child work. She asked me to carry with me a childhood photo from a time when I was in great emotional pain. I chose my kindergarten yearbook photo. In kindergarten, I cried every morning for my mom. The teacher made me sit in the happy chair by her desk until I could get my act together and join the rest of the students. Kathy told me I am still that little girl and I need to treat 19-year-old Nola how 5-year-old Nola should have been treated. Love and nurture that child. She asked if I would make that little girl do heroin or shove a bent spoon down her throat to make her vomit after she ate. That hit home. Oof, this letter's powerful. Eventually, I integrated my inner child, gained a feeling of innocence I never had before, and was able to completely forgive my parents. I was their firstborn, and they did the best they could. I can't say I wouldn't have been horribly depressed in my mom's situation, too. I'm now 28, and since the inner child work, I relapsed, but I was an adult making bad decisions, not a scared child looking for security, predictability, and love in a baggie. The last time I did heroin was Mother's Day 2018, thanks be to God. The inner child work was a huge turning point for me. It helped me to understand why I was the way I was. You connecting Disarm with it was so fitting. Today, instead of taking care of my inner child, I take care of my inner Holy Spirit. Christ lives in us, and our bodies are his temple. I couldn't wrap my mind around that until I understood the inner child. 100%, dude. Thank you for this stream and all your streams. I thank the Lord for you and all the bears. Keep crushing. Love, Noonie Bear. Wow. Amazing. P.S. I'm not Native American. I'm mostly Irish with some English, Welsh, German, and French. I just drank mouthwash so I could be sneaky and smell like mint rather than booze. Thank God those days are gone as long as I stay on the path. Hilarious. Yeah, keep crushing. It sounds like you're doing great stuff.